Chelsea against Malmö in the second leg of the round of 32 in the Europa League after winning the first leg by 2-1 in Sweden last week. Chelsea have much bigger teams coming up in the next 7 days, but this game is as important as they are, with the Europa League being away into the Champions League, as Callum Hudson-Odoi simply has to start for Chelsea. To find out about Sarri's press conference, the latest injury concerns and everything you need to know about both sides ahead of the game, be sure to watch this preview until the end. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my preview of the Chelsea vs Malmö game in the second leg of the round of 32 in Europa League, with the kickoff being tomorrow evening on Thursday evening at 8 PM UK time, obviously at Stamford Bridge. But before getting straight into the preview today, I do have a little favour to ask from you guys. So basically, yesterday I finally restarted my own personal YouTube channel and made a video on there why I do personally believe that there is no point in sacking Maurizio Sarri, why there's no point in Chelsea sacking Sarri, and why Chelsea's downward spiral into mediocrity would only continue further if we did sack him. Whether you agree with me or not, please do just check out the video by clicking the card up there, or the link is also in the description, the link to the video, so please check it out. And when you are over there, please do subscribe to my channel. That really would mean a lot to me. I would, I'd just be massively grateful, basically. So again, please do check, out my channel, check out that video that I made on there, and subscribe over there. But of course, also subscribe to 100% Chelsea, because that's what you're here for, for every bit of content that you need surrounding any sort of game by Chelsea. And let's also see whether we can hit 400 or more likes on this video. That would be massively appreciated. But now finally getting straight into the preview. Sorry this was a bit long, but it's kind of a matter of the heart. Is that a term? I don't know. But now getting straight into it, like I just said, obviously speaking about Malmö. And of course, I spoke in depth about Malmö already last week, ahead of obviously the first leg. Now, things haven't exactly changed drastically in that week, have they now? So I'm not going to go anywhere near as much in depth about them. If you haven't seen that video, basically go back on the channel and check it out if you want to know more about them as a team and, where they're from and stuff like that. Now, their league campaign still hasn't started, as I told you in that video, but they did play their first domestic competitive game of their new season in the Swedish Cup, beating a team called Degerfors, not quite sure how to pronounce them, from the second division in Sweden by 3-2, scoring the winner in the last 10 minutes after, again, Degerfors managed to level the score twice throughout the game, as Malmö's goals were scored by striker Antonsson, centre-back Nielsen, and midfielder Gal, or however you pronounce his name. All of them three did feature against us on Thursday, although only Antonsson and Nielsen played from the beginning. Now, thanks to our team's complete incapability in defending, we aren't going into this game with a 2-goal lead, as we only won the first leg by 2-1, as I assume all of you know. So the tie certainly isn't over. The tie isn't over. We can't just rest everyone in this game because, Malmö did also cause us a bit of trouble in the first leg. Not all too many dangerous, say, shots on target maybe, but plenty of chances that needed last-ditch tackles and last-ditch, blocks by ourselves to stop them from being dangerous. While we, on the other hand, in all honesty, didn't have many more big chances except the 2 goals we scored. If we're being honest, that was the case. Malmö simply aren't a bad team. I think we all saw that last week, while Maurizio Sarri said that they're good away from home, seeing as they qualified by beating Besiktas away, obviously to qualify for the knockout stages of the Europa League, which he is right in saying. But for us, for the game against us, I don't think home and away will be all that much different. I very much doubt that Malmö will change the way of their 5-3-2 that formation that they played last time, even if they do need to win by 2 goals, or by 1 goal if they score more than 3 goals, but that I see as very unlikely. I mean, possibly towards the end of the game, if it's still level and they kind of still have a chance, they might change it to a 4-4-2, but I very much doubt that they will beforehand. Now, this doesn't mean that we don't have to be careful. I mean, they are very direct, and they are pretty good at being direct as well. Still though, the result, in my opinion, pretty much only depends on us, or it depends on us a lot more than it does on them anyway. But still, the tie isn't over. It could have been a lot closer to being over had we not made that mistake for the goal that we conceded. I guess we could have also scored a goal or 2 more, especially Barkley when he was basically 1-on-1 with the keeper. We could have been in a better position, but we're not, so we have to be careful, we have to be concentrated, and we have to take this game very seriously, because Malmö aren't a bad team. But to be honest, that is really it about Malmö, and now getting into Maurizio Sarri's pre-match press conference. And to start things off, Sarri stated that it's very difficult to improve things with training at the moment, simply because we barely have time to actually train on the pitch with a game every 3 days. Basically, he says that we're trying to improve by talking to the players and helping them to avoid mistakes in the future with, especially video analysis. But still does believe that we are able to improve, and that we are able to improve immediately as well. Also said that in his opinion we played a lot better against Manchester United, especially in the first half, than in previous games, which is not wrong in when he says that, I guess, but still it wasn't great. But still says that we need to improve our aggression, our concentration, and maybe also our determination in both boxes, both defensively and offensively. Sarri then also said that he knows that people want him to put on a striker when we're losing, or a defender when we're winning, basically. But he said that's just not who he is. That's just not what he wants to do and wants to see. I guess as fans will have to accept that as long as he's here. Once he gets sacked, I still don't want him to get sacked, but once that does happen, which it probably will in the next few weeks, I'm guessing, I don't see much, I don't see much of a way around it, in all honesty. But until then, that's just not what we're going to get, and I guess we'll just have to accept that and hope that, it goes right. He also went on to saying that individual mistakes are certainly a problem for us, but because pretty much every single player in his, in his statement has made individual mistakes already, it's not as simple as just changing a couple of players here and there, and that will solve everything. But again, basically said what he said before, that we just mainly need a change of mentality first and foremost, which I don't disagree with, but at the same time, I'm like, well, when is this change of mentality going to happen? I mean, you've been saying this for like 2 months now, mate. So, still, as I do support him and as I think that there's no point in sacking him, I mean, at some point, you're just going to have to do something about this mentality problem then, mate. I'm sorry. And then on team news, lastly, which was, the kind of worst news that we got of the day, is that Sarri said we do have a few problems. David Zappacosta has a fever, so, presumably won't be fit in time to play tomorrow. Pedro has a pretty bad stomachache, apparently. And Kepa ARRIZABLAGA, obviously a goalkeeper, has a problem with his hamstring. And Sarri actually said that he only hopes for him to be, to have his keeper back for the game against Manchester City in the League Cup final on Sunday. He basically will, is for sure to be out tomorrow. But, he at least hopes to have him back for Sunday, but he doesn't know for sure, he said. Antonio Rudiger was then the player that spoke after Sarri, and he put our recent struggles mainly down to a lack of confidence and also simply, the team underperforming rather than it being a tactical problem. That's what he said. And then the German also said that tomorrow's game is very important for us because, we want to win the Europa League. It's another way into the Champions League. But he then also said that Sunday, obviously the game against Man City, will show the truth of who we are, of who Chelsea are right now, and also the truth for the rest of our season. Basically, he was then asked about it again just to be sure what he meant. And he said, well, it basically will just show us whether we can compete with the best teams in the country or not. We failed on some occasions. We succeeded in some other occasions. Obviously, when we played Spurs, for example, yes, they had injuries, but still, we beat them. We were the better team, even though, we had to go to penalty shootout. But then we were absolutely demolished by Man City. Didn't play well against Arsenal. Didn't do particularly well against United now. And he's not wrong, although, I think all of us kind of know what the outcome of that game is going to be. Let's just hope it's not as serious. But of course, there's always a chance it's a one-off game. We can win it, I guess. But that was it from the press conference from both Sarri and Antonio Rudiger. And now getting into Chelsea. And obviously, starting it off by speaking about the lineup. And here I've got a fair few things to say, in all honesty. I mean, obviously, Kepa is out, so it's going to be Willy Caballero in goal. Then, obviously, the defence, it's going to be a 4-3-3 formation. We all know that. Azpilicueta will have to stay at right back. Zappacosta has a fever, so he's not going to play. So unless, Sarri out of nowhere just plays Ampadu at right back, which I very much doubt, Azpi has to play again, even though he's pretty much played every game, and the guy, must die at some point because he just must be so tired. And maybe that's also where his recently, rather very poor performances have come from. Then the centre-back two, I'm guessing it's going to be Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger that will start, seeing as Rudiger was the one rested last week at Malmö. So I'm assuming it's going to be David Luiz that's rested, this week. Although I really do think that Ethan Ampadu should get a start. I just don't see Sarri doing that, in all honesty. And at left back, to be honest, I don't care about rotation anymore there. I just don't care. Play Emerson tomorrow, play him on Sunday, play him on Wednesday against Spurs, and then play him the weekend after as well. I mean, he's barely played all season. He'll handle it just fine. He can play 4 games in a row. I just can't be asked with Alonso anymore. It's absolutely triggering me. But chances are Emerson will play tomorrow and then Alonso will play at Man City. That's the most likely thing to happen. Then coming to the midfield, to be honest, it's a total guessing game. I've got absolutely no clue. I mean, Kante was rested last week, against Malmö, so he will probably play tomorrow, I'm assuming. Sarri didn't mention him as, being injured, but I doubt that Ruben Loftus-Cheek is fine to start. If he is, he should start, but I doubt that he will be. Although he did actually train today, so maybe there is a chance of him starting, but I think it's a lot more likely that he might come on as a sub, or at least be on the bench and not even as a used sub, just to be careful with his back because we don't want to injure it again. I mean, Jorginho didn't rest last week, so I hope it will be him that rests this time. He's played a lot of games recently as well because we didn't replace Cesc Fabregas, so, he hasn't really gotten the rest in a while, so I think he's due one. And that would mean that Mateo Kovacic has to start in the register role, in the deep line playmaker role. I mean, we don't really have another option to play there, in all honesty, even though he already played last Thursday, and he also played, obviously, on Monday against Manchester United. But then again, we'll just leave Ross Barkley to start at left centre midfield, which I don't think many of us would be too happy with, but, it is rotation, and in the Europa League, I guess we'll just have to start him there if Ruben Loftus-Cheek isn't fit. I mean, unless Danny Drinkwater out of nowhere just plays, but I very much doubt that, especially seeing as he didn't even train today, which again is a bit weird because Sarri didn't mention him as being injured. Maybe he is, I don't know, but he wasn't mentioned anyway. I just don't think he's just not being considered by Sarri. I mean, Gary Cahill was in training today, but again, he just won't play. I mean, he didn't even travel to Malmö last week, so he just won't play. Even though he probably should. If it's not Ampadu, at least it should be him, you know, just to give some players a little bit of a rest, because we're playing a lot of games. As much as I would like to see Ampadu start somewhere, whether that's at centre-back or right centre midfield, nowhere else in midfield in all honesty, I just don't see the point in resting Kante again. Also, this game is important. He rested last week already, and right centre midfield is the only position in midfield where I see Ampadu as being pretty good at. So I don't really want to see him as the regista. But I guess if Sarri does decide to put him there and rest Kovacic, that's fine by me. Finishing it off with the wingers, so first going with the striker, it should just be Olivier Giroud that starts up front, because, you know, Gonzalo Higuain will start the following 3 games. I reckon he will start against City, will start against Spurs, and he will start in the league the weekend after as well. So, you know, it has to be Olivier Giroud tomorrow. But then coming to the wingers, now I would say if Hudson-Odoi doesn't start tomorrow, I will lose my absolute shit. But it's kind of unnecessary because he kind of has to play with Pedro being ill. There's basically no other option. I mean, Hudson-Odoi will start. Like, surely Sarri can't pick Hazard and Willian. Surely he won't start Hazard against Malmö with the games that we've got coming up. Surely not. Although, now that I think about it, maybe he will. So, well, if Callum Hudson-Odoi doesn't start tomorrow, I will seriously lose my shit. He better start. I mean, it's got to be him and Willian on the 2 wings. It just has to be. Everything else would just be totally unacceptable. Callum Hudson-Odoi deserves to play, deserves to start tomorrow, especially against Malmö. To be honest, he should start against Man City and Spurs as well. It's not going to happen, is it now? But he should, in all honesty, he should. Pedro and Willian are not performing. They're not consistent enough. There is no point in playing them anymore. It's triggering me. Like, but getting back to the Malmö game, the system is going to stay the same. Like, we all know that. You know it. I know it. It's going to stay the same. I mean, we could also do with a big win here, in all honesty. Although we had that, you know, against Huddersfield before playing City the last time, and look how that went. But still, you know, Rudiger mentioned it is about confidence. So a big win, even if it is against a lesser team, would be very helpful, I think. So it would be good, but whether we'll get a big win is a slightly different story. At the end of the day, though, all that matters is going through. Even if we like lose 1-0, we're still through. Even if we draw, you know, or something like that, that's just absolutely stupid and ridiculous, a result that just shouldn't happen, we'd be through. I mean, but then I still wouldn't be happy. If we draw or lose to Malmö, even if we go through, I wouldn't be happy at all. Because along with the result, just going through, we need a good performance. We just need a good performance. So I can only really preach the same thing that I've been saying, you know, for weeks and months, in all honesty. Move with and without the ball. Pass the ball quickly. Don't make stupid mistakes. Also shoot from outside the box if we can't break through the defence. And then we'll be all right. We'll create chances and then take our chances. I mean, obviously we have to be clinical with our chances that we do get. We'll be all right. We'll win the game. Let's hope we win it big. If not, you know, just go through. That's the most important thing. And just like for the FA Cup game, I'm not going to give a prediction. I mean, who knows what Chelsea's going to turn up. Anything from smashing them to getting knocked out is a possibility. I mean, let's hope it's not the latter. But it's all a possibility. I mean, everything could happen. So there's, in my opinion, basically no point in giving a prediction. To be honest, that's really it for me, leaving all of your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. What is the team that you would field? What is the team that you think Sarri will field? What is your, you know, your score prediction? Just because I don't give one doesn't mean you can't. So let me know down in the comment section below. Like I said in the beginning, let's see whether we can hit 400 or more likes in this video. That would be massively appreciated. So please be sure to smash the like button down below. And alongside checking out my social media, like I said in the beginning already, please do check out my personal channel. That would be massively appreciated if you could do that. Subscribe, watch the video, leave me your thoughts. You know, really, I would massively appreciate it, so please do subscribe. And of course, you know, this is YouTube, this is 100% Chelsea, so please also subscribe to 100% Chelsea if you haven't already. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads so you don't miss any of the future videos. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, up the Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.